What if every word you ever spoke about your dreams was taken away? No bragging, no excuses, no explanations, just silence. Would your actions still be loud enough for the world to hear? We live in a time where people love to talk, they love to show off, they love to broadcast every small move they make. Social media is full of people screaming about their hustle, showing highlights without the grind, flexing without the sacrifice. But here's the truth: when it's real, you don't have to announce it. When it's earned, it announces itself. Success doesn't need a microphone because it screams through your results louder than any words ever could. I've seen too many people waste their breath telling the world what they're going to do. They talk about the empire they're going to build, the weight they're going to lose, the dreams they're going to chase. But years later, they're still standing in the same spot, holding on to empty words. Why? Because noise is easy, talking is easy, but living it, that takes pain, that takes sacrifice, that takes a level of work most people aren't willing to face. You can't fake the grind, you can't fake the sweat, you can't fake the nights when you're alone, broken, tired, and you still keep going. That's the part nobody claps for, that's the part nobody posts about, but that's the part that makes your success roar louder than any speech, any caption, any announcement. Noise fades away, but results echo for a lifetime. So stop worrying about what people think, stop worrying about who's watching, stop worrying about applause. Every ounce of energy you waste trying to prove yourself to the world is energy stolen from the grind. Put your head down, lock into the pain, and let your work do the talking, because one day when the results show up, when your body, your life, your legacy stands in front of the world, they won't need your explanation. They'll already hear the noise of your success. You think the world needs to hear your plans, but the truth is, your silence is more powerful than your words, because silence is where the work lives. Silence is where discipline hides. Silence is where you find out who you really are, and when the results finally come, nobody can deny them because they weren't built on noise. We're built in the dark. People scream about their goals, but they're not ready to bleed for them. They want recognition before sacrifice. They want applause before sweat. But silence forces you to confront the truth. It strips away the show and leaves only the grind. It's in that grind where the power grows. It's in that grind where you realize words mean nothing without scars to back them. Every time you open your mouth about what you're going to do, you give away power. You're wasting energy. That should be invested in action. Silence keeps your focus locked in. While everyone else is busy talking about their potential, you're busy turning yours into reality. The silence becomes your ally. The silence becomes the voice that screams through your results. There's something unshakable about a person who doesn't talk, but just shows up day after day, without explanation, without excuse, not trying to prove themselves with words, because they know the real proof is in what they've built. It's intimidating because people realize they can't compete with someone who doesn't need validation. Silence is uncomfortable for most people. They feel invisible, they feel forgotten, but that's greatness is born when nobody's clapping for you, when nobody's paying attention, when nobody even believes in you. That's when you decide if you're doing it for the world or for yourself. And if it's truly for yourself, then silence is all you need. When you're silent, you hear things you can't hear. The noise, you hear your own weakness, your own doubts, your own fears, and instead of drowning them out with empty words, you face them head on. And that confrontation is what sharpens you, because real strength is built in the moments nobody sees and nobody hears. People think silence is weakness. Silence is control. Silence is restraint. Silence is the weapon of someone who doesn't need attention to keep moving forward, because they're not chasing approval. They're chasing transformation. They're chasing a version of themselves so undeniable that the world has no choice but to notice. Every you do in silence, every mile you run in silence, every sacrifice you make in silence is like a seed being planted. It may look like nothing today, but over time it grows into something the whole world can't ignore. The harvest of silence is success, and when that success arrives, it speaks louder than anything you could have ever said. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. The quiet one, the one sitting back grinding in the shadows, the one who lets their results speak, that's the one you need to watch out for, because they're building an arsenal in silence. They're loading with consistency. They're preparing for the moment when success makes all the noise. It's easy to post about discipline. It's easy to shout about the grind, but living it every single day without needing anyone to see it, that's where the real separation happens. Silence is the filter that removes fakes, the pretenders, the wannabes, because only the real ones can keep moving without applause. When the crowd goes home, when the lights shut off, when the cameras stop rolling, silence is what remains. Silence asks you if you're still about it. Silence asks if you're still willing to pay the price. Nobody's watching, and if your answer is yes, then you're on your way to something unstoppable, because silence never lies. Success built on silence has a foundation that can't be shaken, because it wasn't built to impress, it wasn't built to please, it was built out of pure grind. pure suffering, dedication, and that kind of success is untouchable. It speaks with authority because it was earned in the moments nobody else was willing to endure. You can tell the difference between someone who built in silence and someone who built in noise. Because when adversity comes, the loud one falls apart. But the silent one, they keep going. They've been here before. They've been in the dark. They've been in the pain. And that's why nothing can stop. Silence doesn't mean you're weak. Silence means you're dangerous. It means you're locked in. It means you're building something that's going to shock the world. And when that moment comes, you don't need to announce it because everyone will see it. Everyone will feel it. Your silence turns into thunder when success finally arrives. So embrace silence. Stop looking for attention. Stop chasing recognition. Put your head down and grind, because silence is not your enemy. It's your weapon. And when you learn to wield it, your success becomes the roar that drowns out every voice, every doubt. Because silence builds warriors, and warriors let their victories speak louder than words. People think success is built on comfort, but comfort never taught you a damn thing. Comfort never pushed you to your limits. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the translator. Pain is the only language the body and mind truly understand. When you lean into it, when you stop running from it, that's when you start building the type of success no one can take away. Every scar tells a story. Every blister, every sore muscle, every broken night of sleep, it all speaks louder than words. Pain carries truth because you can't fake it. You either suffer and grow, or you run and stay the same. Pain doesn't lie. It exposes who's really about it and who's just pretending. Pain is the toll you pay for greatness. You want strength, you pay in pain. You want discipline, you pay in pain. You want to break through limits, you pay pain. Nobody skips that price. No shortcut, no trick, no hack. Pain, make sure you earn it. Pain, make sure you deserve it. You can hear a million motivational speeches. You can read every book, you can watch every video, but until you experience pain, none of it matters, because pain is the moment when your body screams, quit, and your mind whispers, enough, and you decide to keep going. Anyway, that choice becomes the language of success. The world respects pain more than noise because noise can be faked, but pain leaves evidence. It leaves calluses on your hands. It leaves miles on your legs. It leaves resilience in your soul. You can look at someone who's been through real pain and you know instantly they're built different because pain carved them into who they are. Most people run from pain. They avoid it. They hide from it. They do everything to stay comfortable. But comfort never builds. Legend and comfort never leaves. Impact. It's the ones who embrace pain, who speak the real language of success. They understand suffering is not punishment. It's preparation. Pain strips away the ego. Pain destroys the mask. Pain shows you the real you when you're deep in it. There's no pretending. There's no faking. It's raw. It's ugly. It's brutal. And in that place, you either crumble or you grow. That's why pain is the truest test, because it reveals everything. Every time you face pain and refuse to quit, you send a message to yourself. You speak a language louder than words. You say, I am stronger than this. I'm tougher than this. I will not stop. And that language gets written into your DNA. It becomes who you are. It becomes your identity. When you look back years from now, you won't remember the easy days. You won't remember the times it felt good. You'll remember the pain, the days you wanted to quit, the nights you cried but kept moving, the battles nobody saw. Those are the memories that define your success story. Pain is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Everybody wants the result, but nobody wants the toll, and the toll is pain. But when you pay it, you cross that bridge, you step into a new version of yourself, stronger, harder, sharper, and that's why pain is priceless. Your success will always carry the fingerprints of your pain. People will see your victories, but they'll feel the pain behind them, because it's in your posture, it's in your eyes, it's in the way you move. When you've suffered for something, it gives you an authority no noise can replicate. Pain is the universal language. Everybody understands it because everyone's felt it, but not everyone has used it as fuel. Most use it as a reason to stop, but the few who flip it into power, they become unstoppable. They let pain carve them into weapons, and that weapon speaks louder than words. There's no escaping pain. You'll meet it in failure. You'll meet it in growth. You'll meet it in discipline. So stop fearing it and start embracing it, because pain will either break you or build you, and you get to decide which one it's going to be. When you stop running from pain, you take control. You start using it as a signal, as a guide. It points to your weakness. It points to where you need to grow. And when you lean into it and do the work, that's when pain becomes the loudest language of all, because it's success fluently. So don't fear pain, don't avoid it, don't hate it, welcome it, embrace it, live in it, because pain is not the enemy. Pain is the proof you're alive. Pain is the proof you're fighting. Pain is the proof you're becoming more. And when the world sees the results, they won't hear your word. They'll hear the story your pain wrote in your success. Motivation feels good for a moment. It's like a spark, but sparks die out. Sparks fade, sparks disappear. When the wind changes, obsession is the fire that never goes out. Obsession doesn't care if you feel like it. Obsession doesn't ask if you're tired. Obsession burns no matter what. And that's why obsession beats motivation every single time. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait for inspiration. But waiting is weakness. Obsession doesn't wait. Obsession demands action. Obsession doesn't need the perfect moment. It makes the moment perfect by showing up no matter what. The difference between average and great is that obsession doesn't wait for permission. Motivation comes and goes, but obsession becomes who you are. It's in your blood, it's in your thoughts, it's in every step you take. It follows you into the night. It wakes you up in the morning. It doesn't give you peace, doesn't let you rest. And while motivation fades, obsession carries you through storms that would crush anyone else. When you're obsessed, you don't care about balance. You don't care about comfort. You don't care about approval. Obsession consumes you. It drives you to put in hours nobody else would. It forces you to go deeper than anyone else is willing to go. Obsession makes you dangerous because it gives you a focus sharper than any excuse. Motivation is emotional. Obsession is primal. Obsession doesn't need hype, music, or speech. Obsession doesn't care if it's raining, if it's freezing, if your body hurts. Obsession doesn't care if nobody believes in you, because obsession between you and the grind. Obsession is your contract with yourself, and nothing can break it. The world is filled with motivated people, but very few are obsessed. That's why so few actually make it, because motivation is soft. Obsession is ruthless. Obsession doesn't care about your feelings. Obsession is about building a version of yourself that doesn't stop until the mission is complete. Obsession is about living at a level others can't even imagine. When you're obsessed, your friends might not understand, your family might not understand, the world might think you're crazy, and that's fine, because obsession is lonely, obsession is isolating, obsession is brutal, but obsession is also freedom, because it frees you from the chains of waiting for motivation. It frees you to act every single day. Obsession is when you go to bed thinking about it and wake up thinking about it. Obsession is when you can't escape it, when it runs in your veins, when it becomes the air you breathe. You can't fake obsession because it shows up in your eyes. It shows up in your work. It shows up in your results. Obsession makes you undeniable. Motivation can get you started, but only obsession keeps you going. When pain shows up, when the failures hit, when the world turns its back, that's when obsession steps in. Obsession doesn't care about failure. It only cares about the mission. It only cares about finishing. Obsession makes sure you don't quit, no matter how dark it gets. When you're obsessed, you stop needing validation, because your validating comes from the grind itself. Obsession teaches you to love the process. It teaches you to fall in love with the suffering. Obsession is when, even on your worst day, you still show up, because showing up isn't a choice, it's who you are. Obsession rewires you completely. Obsession is not glamorous. Obsession doesn't look good. Obsession is ugly. It's painful. It's relentless, but that's why it works, because while everyone else is chasing motivation, you're living in obsession, and obsession keeps you moving forward. Obsession keeps you fighting. Obsession keeps you alive when everyone else quits. When you're obsessed, you don't ask how long it will take you. You don't ask how hard it will be. You don't ask if it's worth it. You already know it's worth it. Obsession doesn't ask questions. Obsession just demands action. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you give everything, and in return, it gives you a life no one else can touch. Motivation whispers. Obsession screams. Obsession takes over every cell in your body. Obsession pushes you beyond logic. Obsession ignores limits. Obsession is the fuel that doesn't run out. Obsession is the edge that separates the ground from the forgotten. Obsession is the proof that success isn't about feelings, it's about commitment. The truth is, you can't win on motivation alone, because motivation fades. In the fire, only obsession survives. And the ones who are obsessed, they're the ones who rise. They're the ones who dominate. They're the ones whose success speaks so loud the world can't ignore them. Obsession is the reason their names live forever. So stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting for the right feeling, and get obsessed. Get so obsessed that nothing can stop you. Get so obsessed that people think you've lost your mind, because when obsession owns you, you'll never need motivation again, and your success will make more noise than any words ever could. Everybody wants to be noticed right away. They want quick results. They want applause today, but the truth is, the world doesn't care about your first step. It doesn't care about your first rep. It doesn't care about your big announcement. What the world respects is when you show up every single day, no matter what, because consistency is the one sound nobody can ignore. Consistency is not sexy. Consistency is not glamorous. Consistency is boring. Repetition is the same thing again and again. When nobody's watching, it's grinding. When nobody's clapping, it's showing up when you'd rather quit. But that boring repetition becomes unstoppable power, because over time it builds momentum, and momentum is louder than words. Anyone can work hard once, anyone can grind it for a week, but very few can grind for years. Very few can push day after day without reward, without recognition, without results, showing up fast. Consistency is the weapon that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the difference between potential and reality. Consistency is what turns effort into extraordinary results. When you stack days on top of days, weeks on top of weeks, years on top of years, suddenly you've built something unshakable. While the world is chasing shortcuts, you're building a fortress brick by brick, and that fortress speaks louder than anything you could ever say. The reason the world can't ignore consistency is because it creates undeniable proof. When you show up every single day, you leave behind a trail of discipline, a trail of scars, a trail of progress, and people can argue with your words, but they can't argue with your work. The evidence is too heavy, it drowns out their doubt. Consistency is the hammer that crushes excuses every day. You show up, you send a message not just to world, but to yourself, that no matter what, you will not stop, no matter what, you will not quit. And over time, that message gets carved into your identity, until consistency isn't just what you do, it's who you are. When you're consistent, the world may not notice at first, but eventually it has no choice. The results get too big, the transformation gets too obvious, the success gets too loud, and people will say, you came out of nowhere. But you know the truth, you were there the whole time, grinding in silence, stacking days. Nobody counted. Consistency is not about perfection. You will stumble, you will fail, you will break. But consistency means you get back up every time. It means you keep going. It means you don't stay down, because consistency doesn't require you to be flawless. It requires you to refuse to quit. That refusal builds a force that can't be ignored. The loudest noise isn't one big achievement. The loudest noise is the echo of years of consistency. It's the weight of all the days you didn't quit. It's the accumulation of every rep, every sacrifice, every mile. That's why consistency is undefeatable, because time itself bows to it. Time rewards those who keep showing up. Consistency destroys talent. Consistency destroys luck. Consistency destroys doubt, because when you do something long enough with enough discipline, you become undeniable. People can overlook you for a while, they could doubt you for a while, but eventually your results grow so massive they can't look away anymore. You don't need applause when you're consistent. You don't need recognition, because your validation comes from knowing you didn't break, knowing you didn't fold, knowing you didn't stop. And that pride, the inner fire, is louder than any cheer, because it's not temporary, it's permanent, it's unshakable. Consistency is a silent storm. It doesn't come with fireworks, it doesn't come with announcements. But when it finally hits, it's devastating. It wipes out every doubt, every critic, every obstacle, because nobody can argue with the work. Nobody can argue with the grind. Nobody can argue with what you've built. Most people underestimate what consistency can do in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. But the truth is, time compounds, time multiplies. And when you add consistency to time, the results are explosive. That's why the world can't ignore it, because consistency turns ordinary effort into extraordinary transformation. The world loves to glorify big moments, but the truth is, big moments are born from thousands of small ones. Consistency is the soil that feeds every success. Without it, nothing grows. With it, everything grows. And when your success blooms, it will make a noise so loud the world has no choice but to hear it. So stop waiting for perfect moments. Stop chasing motivation. Stop announcing your plans and start being consistent. Show up every day, put in the work, and trust that over time, your consistency will create a success story so powerful that the world won't just hear it, they'll feel it in their bones. Everybody wants to shine under the lights, but nobody talks about the darkness that builds you. The dark is where you face yourself. The dark is where the work gets done. Dark is where nobody is clapping and nobody is watching. But that's exactly where success is forged, because if you can grind when no one cares, you'll shine when everyone's watching. The dark is not glamorous, it's lonely, it's painful, it's silent. It's waking up before the sun when the world is asleep, staying up when the world has gone home. It's sacrificing comfort while others indulge. The dark demands everything from you, but it gives back something more powerful than applause. It gives you results. In the dark, you find out what you're really made of, because there's no audience to prefer, no fans to impress, no critics to prove wrong. It's just you and the grind. It's just you and your excuses and the decision to either keep going or quit. That choice repeated over and over again is what builds unshakable strength. Success doesn't get built in front of a crowd. It gets built in silence. It gets built in sweat dripping in an empty gym. It gets built in miles run on streets nobody sees. It gets built in sacrifices nobody knows about. And by the time the spotlight comes on, it's too late. The work has already been done in the dark. The dark is where discipline is born, because discipline can't survive off applause. Discipline survives when nobody notices, when nobody cares, when nobody validates you. That's when you learn if your discipline is real, because the dark strips away the lies and leaves only the truth. People want shortcuts, but the dark doesn't allow shortcuts. The dark exposes them, because the dark has no mercy. If you didn't put in the work, it will show. If you cut corners, it will show. The dark keeps scoring. When the light comes on, it reveals exactly what you built. The reason the dark builds success is because it forces you to suffer alone. It forces you to carry weight nobody else can carry. It forces you to trust yourself when nobody else believes in you. And that suffering forges a version of you the world can't break, because you've already faced the worst in silence. The dark is preparation. The dark is where you fail 1,000 times and learn 1,000 lessons. So when the lights come on, you don't fold, you don't shake, you don't collapse, because the dark already taught you how to fight. It already taught you how to suffer. It already carved toughness into your soul. When you're in the dark, people won't understand you. They'll think you're wasting your time. They'll doubt you. They'll laugh at you. But let them doubt, because one day when your success roars, they'll realize that noise was born in the silence of the dark. The beauty of the dark is that it doesn't reward you immediately. It forces patience. It forces consistency. It forces you to delay gratification. And that delay builds character. It builds hunger. It builds resilience. So when success finally arrives, you're not just ready, you're unstoppable. The dark is where nobody believes in you. The dark is where you fight your doubts. The dark is where you bleed in silence. But that's where legends are made, because legends aren't built by the cheers of others. They're built by the unshakable will to keep grinding when no one sees it. When the spotlight finally finds you, it won't make you who you are. It will only reveal who you already became in the dark. If you didn't grind, the spotlight will expose you. If you did grind, the spotlight will magnify you. The dark is the test, and the light is just the reveal. The people who avoid the dark never make it, because they only work when someone's watching. They only grind when they're noticed. But success doesn't come to the ones who seek comfort. Success comes to the ones who live in the dark and build when nobody else is willing to. The dark is not punishment. The dark is privilege, because it gives you an opportunity to grow without distraction, without noise, without interference. It gives you the space to fail and rise and sharpen until the world can't ignore you anymore. The dark is where warriors are made. So embrace the dark. Stop running from it. Stop waiting for the lights to turn on. Stop chasing recognition. Live in the shadows. Bleed in the silence. Sacrifice when nobody cares, because success is not born in the spotlight. It's born in the dark. And when your time comes, the world will hear the noise you created when nobody was listening. At the end of your life, nobody will care about speeches you gave, about what you planned to do. Nobody will remember the noise you made about your intentions. What they will remember is what you built, what you endured, what you achieved. Legacy is louder than words, because legacy doesn't fade. It echoes long after you're gone. Legacy is the mark you leave on the world. It's not the posts, it's not the announcements, it's not the promises. It's the proof you created through sweat and sacrifice. Legacy is the weight of every action you took, every day you showed up, every obstacle you crushed, and that weight speaks when you no longer can. Words vanish, noise fades, but legacy endures, because legacy is carved into reality. It's the business you built, the family you raised, the body you transformed, the lives you touched. Legacy is evidence, and evidence doesn't need your mouth to defend it. It defends itself because it's undeniable. Most people obsessed with looking successful right now, but they forget about being remembered later. They chase attention, but attention dies. They chase recognition, but recognition is temporary. Legacy is eternal, because it survives trends, it survives doubt, it survives time. Your legacy will never be measured by how loud you talked. It will be measured by how hard you worked, how much you sacrificed, how disciplined you stayed, and how many people your example inspired. Legacy is not a sound, it's an earthquake that shakes the world even when you're no longer here. Legacy isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about refusing to quit. It's about stacking victories even when they're small, because over a lifetime, those victories pile up into something unshakable, something unforgettable. Legacy is the ultimate noise because it doesn't stop echoing when people speak your name years from now. They won't talk about your excuses. They won't talk about what you said you were going to do. They'll talk about the proof they saw in your actions. They'll talk about the impact they felt, because legacy is not about talk, it's about proof. The reason legacy is louder than words is because words depend on the moment, but legacy grows over time. Words need an audience, but legacy creates one. Words disappear, but legacy gets passed on from one generation to the next. Because greatness doesn't need to be explained, it lives forever. If you live for noise, you'll be forgotten when the noise dies. If you live for legacy, your name will be remembered when you're gone. Because legacy is what happens when your success becomes bigger than you, when it outlives you, when it continues to speak in the silence after you've left this world. Legacy is built in the decisions nobody sees. It's built in the dark, mourning the sacrifices nobody claps for, in the pain you embraced when nobody cared. Legacy is not something you talk about, it's something you live every single day, and over time, it creates a roar that doesn't end. When you're gone, your legacy will be the story your life told without words. It will be evidence that you refused to quit. It will be the proof that you stood tall when life hit you. It will be the testimony that you left nothing on the table, and that kind of legacy will speak for centuries. Noise makes people look for a moment, but legacy makes people remember forever. That's why you can't chase being loud, you have to chase being lasting. Because lasting is rare, lasting is powerful, lasting is what the world can't erase, and that is why legacy is louder than any sound you could ever make. Legacy isn't something you build at the end, it's something you build right now in every choice, every action, every sacrifice. You're writing your legacy today, and every day you decide whether it will be one that screams of strength or whispers of wasted potential. The truth is, nobody will remember how much you talked, but they will remember how much you did. Nobody will care about noise you made, but they will care about the impact you created. So stop talking about legacy and start living it, because the only thing that survives is the proof you leave behind. So let your legacy be the roar, let it be the earthquake, let it be the noise, so undeniable the world can't ignore. Don't waste time chasing applause, chase greatness. Don't waste time shout about success. Build it, because at the end, your legacy will speak louder than anything you ever said. And that's the only noise that truly matters. You've heard the truth. Silence is power. Pain is the real language. Obsession beats motivation. The world can't ignore consistency. Success is built in the dark, and legacy speaks louder than words. These are not just ideas, they are laws. They are the unbreakable codes of those who rise from nothing and make themselves undeniable. You can talk about your dreams forever, but talk will never build them. You can shout about your goals until you're out of breath, but shouting won't carry you there. Only sweat, only pain, only silence, only relentless. Consistency will create a life that makes so much noise. The world has no choice but to listen. Stop wasting time explaining yourself. Stop wasting time convincing people. Stop wasting time trying to be known. Put your head down. Embrace the pain. Get obsessed. Stay consistent. World in the dark, and let your legacy roar when you're gone. Your noise should not come from your mouth. It should come from the life you built. At the end, it won't matter what you said. It won't matter how loud you were. It won't matter what you did. So let your success speak for you. Let your scars speak for you. Let your discipline speak for you. Let your results speak for you. And when it's all over, your success will be the thunder that drowns out every doubt, every critic, every excuse. So stand up, stop talking and stalking, suffer for it, bleed for it, grind for it, and build a legacy so powerful that your silence becomes the loudest sound the world has ever heard. Let your success make the noise.